We're going to be cooking with gas. Yes, we are. So that is now streaming live to Facebook. Hello, Facebook. And we'll do an intro. I'm now going to hit record. And we're live. So hello, everyone. It's Marilyn Devonish here from transformationstm.com. And today for the webinar, or this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you are in the world, I have a fabulous guest, the wonderful Cathy Hector.
Hello.
And we're going to take you on a virtual visual tour of this incredible retreat that is coming up next month, if you're watching this in real time. And I'm not going to Cathy can correct me, but this may be, I don't know if you're planning to make this an annual event. So it may be if you're watching this after if you've missed this one that's coming up, you'll be able to get in touch with Cathy and say, when is the next one? Cathy, is it something annual, or do people have to jump on now because it's a one-off?
It's annual, but each event is slightly different. So it tends to evolve as time goes on. So the one we have actually done 2 this year. It's supposed to be 1 a year, but we have done 2. And next year, we can't promise it's going to be like this, but it will be a retreat of some kind.
Okay, so. Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, so we're going to get started. So what will happen in a few moments is our tour will begin. I'm just going to upload the slides, and we're going to take you on what I call a virtual tour. So Cathy and I probably look at smaller squares now at the bottom, and we will begin on what I think for me is a very, very exciting journey, and at various points. So let me just give you a sense of what we're going to be talking about. So Cathy, rather than me explaining, because it's your retreat, do you want to just give a very quick potted summary of what the Reset Mastermind Retreat is all about?
Yes. Okay. I say it's once in a lifetime opportunity, even though we've just said we are holding them every year, but this particular one is. So this is for you if you are stuck, something's happened, maybe a major transitional event. You're wondering, what now? What's for me? So it's a chance to come, escape from where you are and all of the stuff that you normally have to deal with in your normal life, and be basically taken care of for 8 days. And you get to focus on you. You're going to have people listen to you. You're going to have people talk to you. You're going to have people to leave you alone if you want to be left alone. So this is your chance to sort out in your head what it is that you want to do with your life now and in the future. I suppose that's it in a nutshell.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And we're going to kind of we're going to step inside of this and go through this. This was my first view when I arrived at the retreat. And Cathy, I'll be honest with you, I was like, is that it? The white wall and that big door, and then and I was like, what's going on here? This is a bit weird. But then when you step through the door, as you're going to see in a second, it is just stunning. So let's begin here with the first view that you get. And Cathy, I think that's you in the corner.
It is.
Isn't it? Just arriving, but it is just stunning. So what we're going to cover on this live stream today is Cathy's going to say a bit about what is Kambio retreats and give you a bit more background of that. Going to look at who the retreat is actually for and who would benefit from attending. What I've done is Cathy has given me some photos, and I've included a few that I took as well because I was teaching there earlier this year when they ran the first one. So we're going to take you also on a visual tour of the retreat. Then going to hand over to Cathy again. He's going to tell you more about where it is, who is it for, how is it set up, what to expect. I've mention the weather as well. Now you can see we're in different parts of the world. I'm in jacket and scarf land at the moment. Cathy is sat out by the pool. She's currently in Spain getting everything set up. And so just give you a bit more of a heads up about that. And then also how to book one of the remaining spaces, because Cathy, how many rooms have you got left at the moment?
We have 8 left. We have 8 spaces left.
8 spaces left. So if you wanted to be one of those people to join us, that's what it is. So first of all, Cathy, over to you. If you wanted to say a bit about yourself and Mark in terms of the whole idea of Kambio retreats.
Yes. You mean like how we came to form Kambio in the first place?
Absolutely.
Well, we actually met on a boot camp. We were both working for a boot camp. Mark was a chef. I was the therapist. And we became friends and we got together. So we wanted to design a business so that we could actually work together. We like each other, so we do. So we wanted to do that. And I had a lot of experience from running retreats before, but I used to run them privately. So as in just one-to-one. So it was just me helping another person, completely bespoke. And Mark has worked all over the world as a chef. And the thing unique about him is that he's a healthy chef. And say you never trust a skinny chef, well, you can trust Mark, because yes, he's skinny and he's healthy and he eats cake. So I like him because he's real, So between us, what I asked him to do was, I said that there are people, women especially, but there are people that actually really, really like eating cakes, chocolates, desserts, bread, and all this kind of thing. And I've in the past I've had to omit that from any kind of food and nutrition advice I've given to people, but I wanted to include it because we're hormonal. Sometimes we just need that something, that crunch factor or that sugar hit or something, but we don't want to have sugar. So I asked him if he could create particular foods in a healthy way. So we just had a lot of time in the kitchen and tasting, and that's what we did. And so we wanted to bring that together and help people that, like, I've been in some really, excuse my language, some really shitty situations in life, as many of us have. And it took me a really long time, a hell of a lot of money, and a lot of dark moments to come out of it. So I'm figuring if we can do that in a very safe way, but very much shorter way, but still go deep, then that'll be incredible. So we wanted to combine the nutrition, which is what I know, and the therapy, the deep therapeutic, energetic work with the actual food that I'll interrupt myself here. There's thousands of retreats out there, and most of them have healthy food. That's the whole point. There's yoga retreats and all this kind of thing, and detox retreats and everything. I wanted people to come away and still feel full and satisfied, and still have their cake and eat it, if you like. Still have a really lovely, colourful, filling meal, but not be eating lettuce and rabbit food, And now there's some really, really good chefs out there that are creating some amazing, amazing things, because obviously research has developed over the years, and we're discovering things about food that we didn't know before. So it's a constant learning process. But we wanted to get around the head side of it, which is where you come in, Marilyn, because I have capabilities, but you have capabilities different to me. And I've learned over the years not to be the smartest person in the room, and I'm definitely not the smartest person in the room on the retreat. So we bring in people like yourself. So yes, I think that's
fantastic.
kind of an overview of.
So what we're going to do now is we've just walked up to the gate. So we're now going to just step beyond the archway. So this was my first view as I was walking in that gorgeous tower room. Love that room. That whole complex. You then and we're going to walk around to the dining room first of all, just to give you a look-see in terms of that. And that's the kind of view as you're kind of walking through. That's one of the apartments. We're going to take you inside a couple of those apartments later on as well. And then we end up in this place and this space where we all gravitated to on auto cue, even before the bell was rung. And most of the time you didn't need the bell because we were all hovering. So this is where it happens. This is the dining room. So it's I would say this one is like you're indoors, but you feel like you're outdoors.
Definitely. I absolutely love this dining area. I don't know if you know this, Marilyn, but the way we found this property, because it's not ours, we hire it from a lovely lady called Peggy, and we actually went to look at it as a wedding venue for Mark and I. And while we're there, we found out that she rents it out not for just weddings, but for other events as well. And so we asked her, would she be interested in letting us run a retreat there? And I don't think at that time she had. She just used it for, I don't know, other things that weren't retreats anyway. I think a few boot camps and stuff. So when I saw the dining room, my initial thought was it was a little bit, what's the word? Not sparse. I don't know, not cozy enough. But then we were actually working there on another retreat, because we also do catering for other people's retreats as well, healthy catering. And we saw it, well, we worked in it, and we worked in it in full swing. and we had like 26 guests in there. There's 2 of those tables, and it actual fact, with people in there, it is so perfect, and it's exactly what you've just said. You do feel like you're outside, and it's inspiring, and it's also really cozy, obviously, because we have lovely gas heaters in there, and it's just great. There's so much space, and it's great. It's a really good room. We ended up spending most of our time in there, didn't we, really, in the end?
Absolutely. And I was going to say, as soon as it comes to life, as soon as like you said, of course, once we got all our stuff in there as well, the throws and the cushions and the books and the cards and the oils and the salts and the food, it was just, and those lights, what people can't see, if you see a lot, if you're looking at a screen, particularly if you're on a larger screen, there are fairy lights along the top of the ceiling. So at night when those go on as well, and those glass panels, they actually do all open as well. We have them closed, but they all open. But even when they're closed, the light reflects sort of you can see the reflection of what's outside, and it's a really magical space. So, and one of the things, of course, that was central to that magical space was the delicious food that Cathy has just talked about, and it's all, you know, fresh produce. So it's pretty much almost like with the lemon drink that Mark gave me, because I have the same drink at home. I was like, what has he done to this lemon drink? And I realized what it was. He just picked it off your tree. Yeah, it had come off the tree into my glass. Tree. That's the one. It's there in the back.
That's the one. Yeah.
So for those of you who are thinking, where, to the right of Cathy, behind the sun lounges, is the lemon tree. Yeah. You've got 2. Have you got 2?
Yes. The other one is out of shot. Actually,
right.
You can have a look. There it is. That one.
That's the one. There. That's the one.
That's the bigger one.
It tastes so different when it's fresh, and everything is fresh. And Mark is preparing the food from scratch every single day. Now, Cathy, while we're on the subject of the yummy food, do you want to say a bit about how you guys deal with the dietary requirements? Because I was really impressed with that.
Yeah. We do. I think we specialize in helping people that have different requirements with their food. So beforehand, we send you out. Oh, where's my camera? There it is. I was looking at the food on the table in the picture. That's what I'm looking at. We send out quite an extensive dietary requirements form, and we find out it's not just, okay, if you're vegan or if you're allergic to something, please request help or something basic like that. We ask you your likes, your dislikes, your favorites, your go-to foods, different levels of allergic reaction, different levels of intolerance to certain foods as well, because what we want to do is to make you feel as if you're at home, but not at home. You know, we want to make you feel comfortable. You know, like when you go and stay in a hotel, or on holiday, the key things are supposed to be your bedroom and the kitchen. And if that's sorted, pretty much everything else is okay. No, I've got it wrong. Bathroom. It's your bathroom, isn't it? A good bathroom and a good kitchen. But I think if you're somewhere and the food isn't great and food's comfort. We all eat for comfort at whatever level. So if we can make you feel comfortable. So the idea is, if you come along and it's full of food that you don't like, what's the point? You're going to be unhappy and you're going to be uncomfortable. So we kind of, I know it sounds a bit weird, but we actually kind of thrive on it. We have this panel in the kitchen, this huge panel. It's actually a cupboard door, and everybody's requirements are on there, literally by name. So when we plate up at dinner time, everyone's plate has a sticker with their name on next to it, so that we know exactly what you can and can't have, what you do and you don't like, etc., etc. Saying that, we also do encourage you to try new things, because we're trying to expand everyone's repertoire with food, because I've found through researching with people over the years that a lot of the time they don't try something new because it means actually going to the supermarket to buy something new and not really knowing what to do with it. So if we can cook it, serve it, you taste it there, the chances are, if you like it, you're going to go home and then buy it, you know. So yeah.
And Cathy, that is so very true, because as you know, we've got a special recipe for those of you who are joining us in the webinar room. Lovely Mark Twissell has given that to me as a handout, so I'm going to be posting that into the webinar room for those of you who are in here rather than just watching on social media and on Facebook. But the recipe that you're getting is something that I stopped eating as a child as soon as I didn't have to have it anymore. and I'd never, ever, 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 ever eaten it as an adult. Mark, when I said, you know, this was when you were doing a retreat about 3 years ago now, I think, maybe even a little bit longer. And I asked what was, and he told me, and he could tell by my face, went, oh, don't you like that? And I went, not really. But I said, Mark, I'm going to eat whatever you put in front of me. Well, I licked that bowl clean. And that's why I said, can I have the recipe, please, to give to people who are here? And you're absolutely right about the expanding the repertoire with food, because one of the things I really appreciated about what you did at this retreat in particular is you would serve things and somebody would go, oh, I can't have that. And then Mark would go, oh, with yours, rather than using ABC, I've substituted XYZ. So we all sometimes had the same thing, but then he was coming up with these really creative substitutions for people so that they could have the same delicious thing, and they just had a slightly different version, which I thought was a really lovely touch and thing to do. And years later, I'm still eating the things that I was, oh, persimmon, oh my God. You know, Mark was the one who introduced me to that. It's now my favorite thing. I get a little bit upset when it's out of season or it should be in season and they don't have it. So it's just fantastic. So, and there's something different every single day. And Mark is there just for this group. So he is catering to our every need and included in the retreat. And Cathy will talk about all of that. But breakfast, lunch, dinner, your drinks, and all of your snacks, everything is included. And it's actually really exciting to turn up in the dining room and go, oh my God, what are we having today? So it's just fabulous. Wonderful, 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 good fun. So Cathy, we're going to start transitioning into, you know, the other things that are happening around the food. And so can you just give people a little bit of a sense of who you are and, you know, what is it you do?
Where do I start? Oh my gosh. Who am I? I don't know. Give me something more specific.
Okay, well, you do so many different things, but the way I first knew of you, a lovely friend of mine called Gina Batch. Now, Gina is a lovely lady. If she loves something, if she likes something, she's going to tell you about it. If she doesn't, she just won't say anything. And I have the same policy. I'm not going to be bad-mouthing people. I'll just be quiet. You know, I just won't say anything. And one of the things that Gina said to me, she said, oh, Cathy is a friend of mine. She's probably the best massage therapist I've ever had. Seriously, she's not a woman who just throws out her praise willy-nilly. And that's the way she described you when, you know, we were first being introduced back in the days at the Ibis Hotel, when you and Ty were there doing, and of course there was the connection with the dancing because Ty was at the same dance school that Gina was teaching at. But that's how she described you. She said, you know, one of the best massage therapists I've ever had. So that was kind of where it started. And I know, of course, with the, you know, the reflexology, the NLP and all of that, I know there's you're very eclectic. So this is one of the pictures with you know, that I found on your page. This is also how I knew you from the Zumba and the fitness, and I know we got a little taster of that on the retreat last time where you took one of the morning sessions. So that's kind of how I know you and how I think of you in terms of wearing those various hats. But is there anything else you want to add?
I'm sure there is more. I think with the massage, this is not something I think it's quite important. It's not something I naturally did because I trained in graphic design and photography. That was my original trade, and then decided I didn't like to be hooked into the system. So I started traveling and went around, and then I was in the restaurant business. I've done everything from landscape gardening to helping people to walk, to working in shops, to I can't even think lobster fishing. I can't even think off the top of my head. And it was actually a catalytic moment many years ago in the Caribbean. I was there when the hurricane came through, and I was a graphic designer and sign writer. So when the hurricane came through, it basically blew everything away. That's the short version. And it was traumatic. It was a state of emergency situation. And I was working for an electrical engineering company. So, of course, they are super busy and in great demand. They're supplying generators to people all over the island. And I was part of a subsidiary company that was an electrical design company. So my boss is saying to me, Cathy, you need to go and call people up because their signs will have blown down. And I'm thinking, they don't even have a building to put the sign on. you know, their businesses have gone, they've probably lost their homes, you know, there've been injuries and everything. It was a serious situation. And so at that point, this was a massive change of life situation for me. And I think this is where the retreat idea started to brew, because I felt completely useless, completely unneeded and completely unwanted. And I know many people feel like this, whether they show it or not. So I needed to find something to do that meant more to people. That's what I wanted. So I kind of freaked out a little bit for a week or so and just went into hiding and just didn't really do anything. And over the years, I was searching for something, and I just needed some kind of meaning in my life, and I knew there was something more for me. Whether you call it your purpose, your dream, your mission, I don't know what, but there was something for me, and I needed to find it without trying to find it and get it, but allow it to find me, if you like. So I did find massage. I found a massage course, but I wasn't looking for it. I was looking for a Spanish course. I was looking to go back to college in my late 20s and learn Spanish officially rather than just conversational Spanish. So I was flicking through this folder, and I saw this course on sports therapy, and I actually felt like somebody hit me right in the forehead. And I was like, I have to do that and have to do that now. So it was definitely meant to be. Now, you know, like a lot of women are very drapey. I call them drapey. They drape over their friends and they hug and they touch and stuff like this. I've never been one of those women, ever. And so I'm not naturally a massagey, hands-on, touchy-feely type of person. But when I trained this, I just took to it like a duck to water. It was the most natural thing in the world for me. And literally, I took this skill, developed it, and ran with it. And so the fact that this gone from me seeing clients on a like day to day on a regular basis, which I still do, I wanted more. I felt that there was more that I could do to help people, because a client comes in to see you for an hour's treatment or an hour and a half, and often the problem isn't physical, it's manifested as something physical, but it could be the fact they're going through a divorce has manifested in a really serious back pain. It could be something else that's manifesting into something physical, and often the talking and the therapeutic side of it is what is needed for the body to release the tension. So obviously realizing this, but not realizing it enough to actually know it, I continued training, and which is why I went into NLP and life coaching, and Jinshin energy work and Reiki. And with doing that, that helped me have that time that I could have to actually have conversations with people. But it's still not enough, because people are paying you for an hour. And then we're not friends. These are clients, you know, but they may be talking to you in a friendly way. So I was literally craving to have this place, this space where I could help people, so that they could be sitting around the pool and we could actually have a conversation. And through that conversation, often all of this stuff and all of their stress and all of their load can come off. And then we can deal with it, because then it's out. Because often if you're in not always, if you're in a professional or coaching situation and you're on a time limit, it may limit you to how much you let go. It can also work on the opposite end of the scale, which I'm sure you found out is actually, it's almost like an open ticket to actually let go, because you know you're in a safe environment. But I've been to many seminars and personal development things over the years, and some of the best connections and conversations I've had have actually been in the bathroom, you know, not in the seminar room, not in the training room. So because now I'm bringing my therapy into the retreat setting, it means that as people mingle, I suppose it's like a Facebook community group, but live, you know, as people mingle, it's not just me helping this person directly. It's this guest is mingling with another guest, and they may have something that each other needs. And the fact of all of this stuff going on and people connecting and talking and everything, and it's magic. I love it. It's just to oversee all this, it's incredible. It gives me a buzz.
Fantastic. And talking of that, we'll transition into the next thing. Do you want to just carry on while you're in the magic of the retreat, and just give us, it's on the screen for those of you who are looking, but if Cathy, you want to give us a rundown, just a little bit in terms of, you know, what's included in the retreat.
Okay. Yeah. So from a practical point of view, you're going to arrive at the airport, Malaga airport. That's all you have to do. Buy your ticket. Obviously, you've got to pay for your retreat. and buy your ticket. That's it. Bring some money though. There may be some other things, but you will be catered for in every way. So we pick you up from Malaga Airport, bring you to the venue. You come in, have a look around the place, find your room. Well, we'll take you to a room and have whatever time of day you arrive, whether it's drink or meal or something like that, and settle in. And this is what happens on the first day, because everybody will arrive on the first day, which is Sunday, the 3rd of November. And we don't start until Monday morning, so everyone starts together. So included is all of, as Marilyn said, all of your breakfasts every day, all of your lunches, all of your dinner. So breakfast is an extensive buffet. So we have hot food, cold food, fresh fruit, homemade granola, savoury, sweet. We have cake for breakfast as well, healthy cake. Lunchtime is the same, an extensive buffet of all sorts, hot, cold, salads, cooked, everything. And then in the afternoon, we think it's nice to be waited on. So in the evening time, it's a sit-down 3-course dinner. You can turn up in your pajamas if you want. You can dress for dinner. It doesn't matter. It's your retreat. It's your time. But we lay the table very nice, and you come and sit down, and you're served, and you're waited on. There's teas. When I say teas, coffee, there's no coffee. What we're talking about. There's all kinds of herbal tea, any juices and teas and everything's included, even down to your water, just the water you're going to walk around with. That's all included as well. All of your we have group workshops every morning for pretty much all of the morning. That's all included, and that's with all of the trainers, which are all of those are all professional in their own right. I'm sure we'll touch on those separately as well. And what else? We have meditations. We have yoga or stretching. We'll have fitness sessions, but not too much. Some of the things I don't want to say because it's a surprise.
Okay.
And the grounds, reading the slide here, the exclusive use of the grounds, the whole resort, we hire the whole place for ourselves. So nobody else comes in apart from the gardeners are around. So it's all for us, and there's plenty of space. You could literally hide there and no one would find you if you wanted to. So there's plenty of private space, indoors and outdoors. You've got your own private room, and there's the big communal area as well. And I think that covers it.
And I have put in chauffeur to and from the airport. I know you've had a change of staff, yes, and the logistics of that. So I put a star because it may be that it could be, if people are coming in around the same sort of time, then there'll be one pickup. So I think that's one to be, talked about. But, there will be help and assistance getting to and from the airport. Yeah.
Yeah, you literally just have to arrive to the arrivals lounge. There will be somebody waiting there for you. We'll arrange, even if we have to ask two of you to, if you're arriving within half an hour of one another, just to wait together, and we'll pick you both up. But yes, someone will meet you and take you back. Oops.
Brilliant. That is amazing. That is fantastic. And so for those of you who are watching this, maybe you're like, I don't know who Marilyn is, just to say a little bit about myself as well. I had a very traditional background. I did a business studies degree, postgraduate marketing diploma with the Chartered Institute of Marketing, and I was studying to be a chartered accountant. One of the reasons for that is that because I was very quiet and shy and had very low confidence and not much self-esteem, as it turned out, when I did my personal development training, I figured that accountants didn't really need to speak to anyone and I could hide behind paperwork. Well, clearly that's not the truth. If you're a good accountant, you actually talk to your clients. And so to get over that, I signed up for what I thought was a communication skills course, and was really very angry when I realized I'd signed up for NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, and Hoonah, because I'd never heard of it. No, I heard of hypnosis and I was like, I don't think so, because I'd seen the stage hypnosis where you hop on one leg and bark like a dog and make a fool of yourself. And so I wasn't interested. I tried to get a refund, and they made me come to the course by saying if I didn't get massive value at the end of the 7 days, then I could get my money back. So now I'm doubly mad because you're now going to waste 7 days of my life for something that I'm not the least bit interested in. And by the end of the 7 days, I was like, man, this is so cool. And I went from being very quiet and very shy, lacking in confidence, very low self-esteem, barely able to speak to my own family, to like, whoo, it's a whole new world. And I literally was transformed, hence the name of everything I do now, transformations. And so decided then to go on and do the master practitioner in NLP and hypnosis and timeline therapy. That was in October 2000. It's my anniversary this month. Woohoo, it's 19 years ago now. Next year will be 2020 will be 20 years. That's cool. And then in May 2001, also became a trainer in NLP and hypnosis and timeline therapy. And over the years, I've probably added about 20 different modalities to that stack. So everything, you can see a few of them on the screen: EFT, DNA theta healing, Hoonah, one of my first loves, FLP, future life progression, soul plan reading, archetypal profiling, tarot, energetic NLP, photo reading, of course, with the brain and the early onset Alzheimer's thing. That's what turned it around for me. So there's been a lot of stuff that I do. And also in 2003 started working as a corporate trainer, management consultant, and Prince 2 project manager, designing and delivering corporate trainings. So for someone who used to be terrified of public speaking, when I see the picture that I put on screen for this slide, it always makes me smile that the little pink dot on the stage is me, as my friend says, holding court. And that's why I'm so passionate about personal development, because I absolutely know, because people, when they see me on stage, they go, oh, well, it's all right for you. And I go, what do you mean? Well, and they'll kind of be wanting to say I'm born that way. And I'm off the chart introvert. If you've ever done MBTI, Myers-Briggs type indicator, I'm off the chart introvert, still am. That doesn't need to change. But I know that it doesn't matter what you come with. It is possible to change and transform and learn new skills, and things that possibly once terrified you will then, in my case now, fill you with a sense of delight. Because when somebody invites me to speak, my first thought is like, oh my God, I hope I'm free, rather than, oh my God, how can I get myself out of that, which used to be my first thought. So, that's kind of me in a nutshell. And that's why I'm so passionate about this stuff. And it wasn't just about being quiet and shy. In September 2000, after a relationship breakup, I contemplated committing suicide. So called the Samaritans, and all the rest of this day's history, because clearly I'm still here. And the following year, I also became a Samaritans volunteer, where I'm answering the phone. And in the centre in Watford, you can actually receive visitors as well. And so for me, that was just like a 360-degree turnaround, that in the space of a few months, I could go from hating myself and hating being in front of people. Because I did my training October 2000. December 2000, the company that I trained with offered me a job. I started working for them in January 2001. February 2001, I was on stage teaching morning sessions. And so that's how fast it was. So I'm definitely a fan of what I call the rapid transformation as well, in terms of when you're ready, let's not hang about. Let's just sort this out. If you're in that place, in that space, you're like, it's time to move. So that's me in a nutshell. I also write for newspapers and magazines. So started off, probably, I think it's on there somewhere. Here's Health was the first one that I ever wrote for, had a column with them. I had a column with Spirit and Destiny for about 6 years. It was a monthly agony aunt column. So people would write in with their problems. I would write a reply. And then over the years, that transitioned into, I'd actually do telephone and then Skype sessions when that came on stream with their readers. And then the readers would write about it. So that whole thing, like Cathy was saying, being able to virtually sit with someone, hear what they're saying, and then come up with a solution, normally in 500 words or less, was, it's been interesting. So I started doing that in 2003 and still do that to this day. I've got one to write this afternoon when we finish here. And, it's always been about transformation for me. So the first book I co-authored was with people like Tony Robbins, Dr. Paul Sheely, who's the creator of photo reading, another thing that I totally love, the now late Dr. Wayne Dyer, Chun-Yi Lin, and Brian Tracy. So, and it is a book. It's a real book rather than an ebook. And so that was one of those synchronistic moments. So that's a little bit about me in a nutshell. So Cathy, do you want to just say a little bit about the other trainers, and also what we're going to be covering and the sorts of things that are going to be happening in the workshops?
Yes. It's going to be 6 full days of, I say, work, attention on you. So you arrive on day 1 and day 8, day 2 to 7, so the 6 full days in the middle are clean from start to finish. So we're going to take you from the condition that you are when you arrive, obviously, to a much better ending. That's the idea. So in theory, you'd be arriving in not necessarily frazzled, but unsure, maybe confused, maybe you have something, you don't know what it is, something like that. So we're going to split it into 3 sections. The first 2 sections will be helping you get all of the stuff out, get it all out. Now, when I say get it out, you don't actually have to get it out and share it all amongst each other. You can still get it out through the processes that the trainers will take you through, and it doesn't have to be voiced. It can be written, or it can just be come to the forefront, come to your conscious mind. So we're going to bring out all the beliefs you've have, all the conditioning, all the unsureties, all of the questions, bring it all up to the surface, help you decide what you want to keep, what you want to put on hold, what you want to let go of. And we have a great place you can store your stuff as well while you're there that you don't want to carry around with you for the week. Then the next 2 days, once we've cleared out all the stuff you no longer want, we've gone through it, sorted it, a bit like decluttering, I suppose. Then the middle 2 days, we're going to help you find out, because you're going to do the work. But why am I looking at the picture? There's the camera. I'm looking at you talking, Marilyn, as if I'm talking to you in the workshop on the photograph. Okay, the middle 2 days.
Sorry, I'm on Facebook typing, so I am listening. But so when you see my hands moving, I'm typing. Webinars, I actually look at the screen as well, because I sometimes like the picture. So look wherever you like.
Yeah, just realised what I'm looking at. I'm waiting for you to respond, because you're standing there like that, but you're not, because it's a photo. You know what I mean? I know what I'm doing. So come and join us. The middle 2 days, we're going to have a lot of fun. That's the thing. But the middle 2 days is about helping you discover what you really, really want. Not what you think you want, but what you really want. You may think you know it. You may not know it. It's not about trying to find it. It's about, we're going to help you remember who you are. Whether that's why you're here, what your purpose is, your mission, whatever, but who you are and what it is you really want to do. Aside from all of what everybody else is telling you should or shouldn't do, be, or have. That's rubbish. We're going to help you decide for yourself. And it's safe, because everyone's in pretty much the same boat as you. So that's made me think of something. I'm going to bring that up in a minute. The last 2 days, so we've got rid of all the stuff you don't want. You've decided, you've figured out what you really want, and then the last 2 days, what we're going to do is help you embed your new beliefs into your psyche, into your consciousness, into your subconscious, so that when you leave, it's already in motion. But before you leave, we're going to help you set or take the first step. So let's say, for example, you're coming because you have a story that you need to write. Not necessarily a writer, but you're a person that has a story you need to get out, and you've always dreamed of this book or this story that has to come out, because you know it's going to inspire some people. So we'll help you write the synopsis. We'll help you send the email, bring the publisher, look for an agent, whatever. So your business idea or your new project or whatever it is that you need to do, reassessment of marriage, reassessment of living environment, reassessment of country, of culture, anything, you're there to reset. So we help you put that first step in place, so that by the time you leave, you arrive home, the ball's already rolling. So it's going to catch up with you rather than you have to catch up with it. So that's, I suppose, the kind of rough bones of the plan. Bearing in mind, most of us there are going to be female, and it might not go exactly as clear cut as that, but it's going to flow in that kind of direction. So that's the 6 days, and then we're going to relax just before we arrive on day 1. And just before we leave on the last day. Now, the thing I was just thought of was discretion. What we're really good at is keeping secrets, okay? Because some of the stuff you're going to be sharing, this could be a business idea that is literally going to change the world that you have. So nobody else needs to know that. So we all agree and honour each other that nothing goes outside what happens on Kambio stays on Kambio, basically. So it's a place where you can be completely open if you wanted to, but you can be assured that nothing's going to escape there. Any staff there are people that we know. There's one girl that sometimes comes to kind of help out with the rooms and things like that, but she is kind of works for the owner, and she knows what we're about and everything like that. So everything is what's the word? Discreet. Yeah, we are very discreet. That's what I'm trying to say. And obviously we're all going to honour each other. I think that about covers that, doesn't it? Yeah.
Fantastic. And do you want to just, I'm going to do a very quick whistle stop tour of what I'm going to be covering, some of the things I'm going to cover there, and then we're going to get back to the tour, and I'm going to show people the accommodation, let them see more of the grounds. I've got a picture of one of the bathrooms because you talked about the bathroom, so we'll see the bathroom. But do you want to say anything about the other trainers who are taking part as well?
Yes. You're going to talk about yourself. The other trainer that's
a bit about me too, because it's always nice to have someone else introduce you in terms of why was I even invited and maybe how we've worked together in the past. I don't know.
Yes. So as I came to, Marilyn and I came to each other's attention because of the our friend Gina at the time, and the massage link, and I got to know Marilyn through, I think, the London Yes groups involved. Can't even speak today. I've been working really hard just lately. To do with the Tony Robbins Yes groups that happen in London. I met you a few times there. And what was I going to say? And I needed some help because I knew that you had worked for the Samaritans, and I knew the reason you worked for the Samaritans, and I needed some help in that area. So I came to you, and I was your client, and you helped me back then. A lot, and we had 2 sessions a week. I remember that, and those 2 sessions a week kept me going, and it was incredible. And I still think to this day, you gave me some kind of something that isn't normally on your on your list of things that you do. You made it accessible to me. Let's put it that way. That's the feeling I've got, and I really appreciate you for that. And it was amazing. So that's how we came into contact, and so I was your client, and then I can't remember, just life and connections and Facebook, obviously, and the internet over the years, and then you became. Why did I ask you to come? I asked you to come. We'd connected in some other way since then. I think we just were always in touch, and then when we did I asked you to come. Yes. The Portugal retreat, the group retreat we did in Portugal, was actually invite only. So we didn't actually put out there to the general public. We only contacted a few people and asked them if they wanted to join us on this retreat. Marilyn was one of them. And it was all people that we wanted to thank in some way for various things throughout the years. And also people I was energetically guided to contact, and that's how Marilyn came up. She'd just been asking for, in her world, unbeknown to me, a chauffeur and a chef to help take her workload because she was really busy. And then I phoned up and said, we're inviting you to this retreat. We have a chauffeur and we have a chef. So she was really excited about that. So she came along. And then when we decided to do the next retreat, we asked Marilyn if she'd come back as a trainer. And so we did. And she's been my client because I've been massaging her and I've done energy work on her. So we've been each other's clients. Now, the people that are involved with us, with Kambio in any way, shape or form, are people that we've personally had experience with on whichever side of the relationship. Okay, this really is the know, like, trust and love factor. So we can vouch for everyone that comes and works and helps us, works with us. It's a bit of a strange word, but we kind of work together. Okay, the other lady that's come in is new to Kambio. Her name's Jackie Crooks. She is an EFT trainer, and she's one of the founding members of EFT. And we've done a little webinar recently that's on Facebook as well. I was her client years ago. She helped me out. I was looking for something. Someone recommended her. I went to her for EFT. EFT is the tapping. If you're not familiar with EFT, emotional freedom technique. And I'm not even going to explain it because I don't think I'm going to do it justice, actually. I'm not going to do it justice. But Jack is incredible. She's, I can't think what else to say. I don't really know what to say about it. I think.
Well, you can just go with she's incredible.
Yeah,
and I think that's I'll meet her soon.
I think that's it because there's nothing more than that. She's also been my client as well, so I'm her massage therapist now. As time has gone on, things have happened. So she's come in. We also have Rachel CK, call her Rachel CK because that's how she is on Facebook. Rachel was actually a guest at the previous retreat in April, and Rachel, what she doesn't know about essential oils is not worth knowing. She leads a completely plant-based, almost completely, but going to completely plant-based lifestyle now. And she doesn't mind me saying this, so I know I'm not speaking out of turn. She's had some recent health issues, which has now gone completely due to her knowledge and her experience and her usage of oils and her diet and juicing, etc., etc. So we were like, she's a perfect advocate for Kambio. Now, what Rachel's going to be doing, this is new to Kambio, she's going to be doing every single night a bath butler bar. So you go to her and say, tonight I feel like this. And she's going to say, okay. And she'll mix you a cup of bath salts with oils specific to you. And you trundle off in your dressing gown to your room and have your bath with your bath salts, basically. And I just think that's such a lovely touch. I'm really looking forward to that. The thing is, though, there's one room, which is the tower room, which you pointed out at the beginning, which actually doesn't have a bath in. So Mark and I are giving up our pool room, which does have a bath in, to move into the tower room so that every guest has a bath. Oh, well. No, it'll be fine. He'll be fine. So that's a really lovely little treat. And Rachel's going to be supporting you all with support about how to live a chemical-free life. You know, it's like clearing the toxins in your body with food and sorting out your head with all the NLP work and all of the other head and energetic work, but it's the stuff around you in air fresheners, in deodorants and sprays and bleaches and stuff we use about house. She's going to help us show us how to get rid of the toxins out of our environment as well and properly reset a life. This is a reset. It's a chance. This is an opportunity. It's a chance to literally take your life, have a good old look at it, rummage around in it, rearrange it, redefine it, and reset it.
Fantastic. And what you can see on the screen there, that's the wooden table that we all dine on. It also doubles up as the workshop table when we're doing, you know, more practical workshops. So that's Rachel from the last one, where all those little bottles you can see, she made us all a little bottle in a roller bottle of essential oils. And so we said what we wanted it for. So, you know, some people had conditions, other people wanted to clear their head or energize themselves. And then she made us all the little bottles to order. So that was lovely. So I am definitely looking forward to that. And Cathy, are you going to be doing a couple of the fitness Zumba style sessions a couple of the mornings?
Yes. Yep. We're changing it from last time.
Yeah.
Last time it was up at the crack of dawn, hardcore fitness session, nice deep relaxing stretch, and then breakfast. We're not doing it like that now. We're waking up with the sunrise, well, actually just prior to the sunrise, and we're going to actually have I don't know whether I should share this because
no, you can save it if you want. You can save it.
Yeah, I think I'll save it, but it's going to be different. We're going to be more in tune. Let's say, put it that way, more in tune with nature and with the energy of the day. But yes, I will be having fitness sessions, but they won't be first thing in the morning.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'll be doing it. Yeah.
Brilliant. And in terms of, just to give you a little overview of some of the things I'm going to be doing when I'm there this time round, we're going to be using your soul plan, because that's a really good way for you to get a sense of where you're at, what's going on for you, to start uncovering blockages. There's also the opportunity for you to do a fuller soul plan reading, where we really start getting into pinpointing the specific limiting beliefs and negative emotions that are stopping and blocking and holding you back. We're going to prepare what I call some little intervention prescriptions based on that. So you can be working with myself and the other trainers there. So I can go, all right, you work on this, and then you might be doing a session, let's say with Rachel, and she might be talking about stress, anxiety, or dealing with old emotions. And if that's on your soul plan, you can go, when she's doing the salts and oil night, just to go, actually, can I have something for this, please? So it all kind of works in tandem. And again, if there was something that you wanted to tap on that was related to your soul plan, then it'll be a nice way for you to have real clarity. Because the way I use the soul plans for my breakthrough session clients is because there are limiting beliefs and negative emotions and self-help interventions and personal development interventions that go with every single point on the soul plan. And I'll show you in a second what one of those looks like. So it's a really good way of pinpointing and get very, very specific without guessing and going around the houses in terms of what do we need to work on, what do we need to sort out. We're also going to do some of the Hoonah and Ho'oponopono because that's just a really powerful way to clear old energy, whether you happen to be in the room or you're back in your room. We can do all of that remotely as well. And we're going to do some of the rapid transformation work to clear old negative emotions, limiting beliefs, and any of the kind of the unseen blocks and barriers that you might have inadvertently put up as well. And there may be, you know, I did them as kind of private sessions last time, you know, tarot readings, oracle card readings, if you want sort of deeper insights and a different kind of perspective. So that's what your soul plan will look like. So we're looking at your potential, your possibilities in terms of your worldly goals, your worldly talent, spiritual goals, spiritual talents, also kind of any of the kind of blockages and things that stand in the way, and also looking at your soul destiny. Just to give you a sense, I've just pulled out one of the aspects of a soul plan, the 10-1. We'll talk about what all of that means at the workshop, but let's just give you an example of what I mean by that, because I can be saying positive attributes and possible challenges. You're like, well, what's that? So let's just say if you had the 10-1 in your soul plan, it's potentially you've got high frequency, you've got a lot of power, you're balanced, you've got good male female balance, you're a channel, and that can be, you know, channel for information. It might be someone who channels information spiritually, good vocal expression, and you're here to be of service. So let's just say you're coming to the retreat because you're like, I don't know what to do with my life, I don't know what's next. Then the soul plan can help you to pinpoint that as well. There was somebody I did a reading for this week, and it kept talking about him being a teacher and being a catalyst and being magnetic and da 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 da. He's the events manager, but also he describes situations. No matter where he goes, he finds himself at the center of something, holding the space for people, even if that's not his job. So it can be really, so I've got goosebumps now to think about that, but it can be really powerful for giving you a sense of direction. The challenges for the 10-1, and this is one that I have in my soul plan: denial of spirituality, highly critical, self-loathing, perfectionist, isolated, insecure, and must work to establish self in the spiritual. This was in my worldly goals position, so it's one of the things I had to work through in order to have a breakthrough. And to say I was in denial of spirituality could not be, it's an understatement. You know, I was going to be a chartered accountant and I'd done a business degree and I'd always worked in the city, and the last job I had was with an investment bank. That's really not spiritual. So, you know, to say I was in denial would be an understatement. I was very, I mean, you're not going to contemplate suicide when you're not critical of yourself and you don't hate yourself. So all of that fits as well. I was always very lonely, very insecure. And geez, did I go through the mill to work to establish myself in the spiritual. So, you know, that's just to give you a flavor. And in terms of the limiting beliefs that are associated with the 10-1, and all the limiting beliefs are different depending on what you've got on the 7 points of your 7 aspects of your soul plan. Things like I'm separate, I'm alien, and I used to feel like I didn't belong in the family that I was in. I used to feel like somebody, I was on the outside looking in, is the way I used to describe my life. Things like I'm abandoned by the divine, I have to be perfect, I hate myself, I'm flawed, others are flawed. To overcome the challenges, it includes things like volunteering to help others. Surprise, surprise, I spontaneously decided I was going to become a Samaritan's volunteer. Meditation, spiritual literature. As you can see, I love books. I started reading more about people who had been on this path. I started with a book called A Buddha in Daily Life by Richard Carlson, even though I didn't really know what Buddhism was. It also, and I had to smile when I first read my soul plan, because it talked about NLP, hypnotherapy, vow breaking, chakra, and all that is the NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, Hoonah. So everything I naturally stumbled my way to eventually was in my soul plan. I didn't see my soul plan until November 2013. So that's 13 years after I'd done the training. So, you know, it's really, really fascinating. And then it tells you a bit about your soul destiny. So for if your soul destiny was 10-1, that's to completely or master yourself in this lifetime and get deeper soul consciousness. Let's say, for example, you had the 11-2. That's about gaining resilience, understanding how the world works and how to express your truth. And let's just say you had the 12-3 energy, for example. It's about how to blend consciousness, awareness, truth, and then share your knowledge out into the world. So again, with what Cathy was saying about where you are in your life, what are you here to do? What's your next phase? The soul plan is really, really powerful for doing that. So we're going to have a look at that. We're also going to, you know, throw in some of the Hoonah symbols. We did that as one of the workshops last time, where I'm doing all the And so that's always a fun one to do. So we're going to look at the Hoonah symbols. And people often ask, you know, does it work with groups? Does it travel? Absolutely, yes. Even if people are listening to a recording. Now, the nice thing is you'll be in the room. But it also works, you know, in terms of maybe, and it'll be fun actually. I'll ask Rachel if we wanted maybe sometimes for a couple of the nights do a little combo where Rachel does the salts and oils, and then I will do some Hoonah symbols for them to send them off to bed, because that can be really, really powerful as well. And the things that people describe that, you know, I'm not going to, you can read this one for yourself on screen. This is one of my lovely clients, Pippa Neve, out in Australia. Check her out. She's a brilliant kind of hypnotherapist and meditation coach and trainer, etc., and does all sorts of wonderful things on the other side of the world. But she was just listening to a recording. But what I didn't realize until a year or so after, when I read it a few weeks ago, that the order and sequence in which she describes her experience is the order and sequence in which I did the symbols. Yet nobody knew what the symbols were. All they could hear on the recording was me going, you don't know what symbol that is. But she described it perfectly in terms of where I was putting the symbols, because, you know, the third eye, I opened up the heart and she described it. Cathy, can you read it on screen, or is it a bit small, just so I know for the viewers?
No, I can read it. Yeah, I can read it clear.
Brilliant. Yep. Brilliant. But so it's always astounding, it's always amazing. And whether it's a, you know, one-to-one, somebody listening to a recording, or, you know, doing it in a group setting, and the biggest group I've done it with so far is about 550 people. I think I might have the slide for that one. Let me have a, yeah, this one. So that on that, that's Greg Braden, Dr. Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton, and I did Hoonah just for probably 3 minutes on that occasion, very impromptu, because Grenfell Towers had just happened and the people from Grenfell were downstairs. And so the organizer said, oh, could you do something like a meditation or something for the group? And so I thought, oh God, what am I going to do? Because I was just about to go on stage, because I'm the host and the MC for that event. So I thought, okay, I'll do some Hoonah. And there were 550 people there. For the next 3 days, I was being stopped every 2 seconds. Oh my God, when you did that thing, they didn't even know what I was doing. And people were describing the symbols. They were just like, there was one woman, she said, she said, about after you started about 30 seconds in, I felt like I was under a waterfall. What she had no idea was I'd called in the goddess of water, and I put a waterfall over everyone's head. Somebody else said, oh, halfway through, I felt like this thing spinning around me. What they have no idea is I put the cloak of light into the room and I spun it around. It's just crazy. And most people had their eyes closed. So, you know, it's really, really fantastic stuff. So we're going to be doing that as a group. And if anyone's doing individual sessions, then we'll get into it in a bit more detail as well. So that's that. And just, you know, a kind of a little summary of the things that have happened for people. So, you know, this guy, a lovely friend of mine, and now a friend, Lack Loy, had been out of work for 9 months. And a friend that I'd worked with previously said, oh, you know, call Marilyns. So we did a phone thing. Next day, offered a job. They're like, can you start tomorrow? And he's been, you know, busy ever since. This was probably a good 4 or 5 years ago now. So, you know, really cool stuff. People find that they have more peace, they have more clarity. This is one of my photo reading attendees from a couple of weeks ago. 2 weeks after the workshop, that's the thing that he sent, saying he's feeling light, he's feeling clear, he's feeling peaceful. And pretty much all I did was probably I just go around the whole room on the Friday night just to clear people's heads for what's coming. So I probably do about, I don't know, 3-5 minutes with each person. And that's kind of what was coming back. So you're going to be having several days of this when you join us. And maybe we'll do some of the ancient stuff. I'll probably bring my dowsing rods, because they're a really good diagnostic as well. And then there's the chance to do some individual Hoonah. And, you know, people do find, which is really what this retreat is about, is they're seeing the world with fresh eyes, and they're seeing the world with a new. So this person is saying it's like the scales have dropped. She thought she was seeing the world, and now it's kind of like, you know, HD vision, which is lovely. And this was somebody else who I think, you know, it's almost like the ideal retreat candidate, because she was having what you might call a midlife crisis. She'd had a whole career working as a nurse and was then like, okay, I don't know what's next now. And so we did a program over a bit like what you did, Cathy, over a few months. just kind of clearing things. And then she said it was kind of like launching into the stratosphere and just having a completely different point of view. And that's the intention that I'm kind of holding for people who are joining us and coming along. So that's in a nutshell what I'm going to be doing. So we're going to now go back to the virtual tour and just have a little walkthrough of when you go through those doors. Here's what you can expect, just so you get a flavour of what's to come. And actually, that was my apartment last time, number 7. I love that room. It was gorgeous. So this is what it looked like when you go up those stairs and through that door. Ta-da! That is just lovely. So there are places to sit. What you can see beyond the door, through the other door, there's a veranda where you can go and sit. So number one, you know, when we were doing the one-to-one client sessions, that's also where I was seeing the clients. So it's nice to get you out of your own environment. Even if your environment is just for that 6 or 7 days, you still got all your stuff around you. Do you know what I mean? So to come somewhere completely different, sit down, and what you can't see is the table just behind, because that's where we were doing, like if I was doing readings and stuff, but also people just wanted to lie back and relax in a completely different environment. They know that nobody's going to be walking in or walking past, etc. And that's kind of where we did the work. So it's perfect on all fronts for that. And just to let you see some of the bedrooms, I'm calling this one the white room. Cathy, are there names for them, or did you just make them up?
No, that is actually the pool room, named by the owner, not by us, and that was actually our room last time, which we're giving up. Oh my goodness. It's so cozy, and they used that one as the bridal suite, so that one's had a lot of love in it. So that's the way I looked at it. It's really cute. It's not as big as some of the other rooms, but it's, I mean, you can just see there's a sofa. Actually, that's not there anymore. It's kind of like I think it's like a bed sofa there now instead, and a table and chairs the other side of the archway. Now, the reason that is an archway, the property actually used to be stables. It's got an equestrian, its history is equestrian, and it's a renovated cortijo, basically. So what they've done really cleverly, I think, they've retained so many of the original features. So that would be, the horse would be possibly, I think, the other side of that, and that's like the arch where they poke the heads through, or however that works. I'm not sure. Yeah, and there's, in some other areas, there's, I think, the rings where the horses were tied or tethered, not tied, I think are like towel rails and part of it. So that's what some of the little quaint little cute things are in them. So like for that, that's the bottom of the bed, and that's where your feet would be. There you go. There's the lounge part. That's the other side of it. So yes, that was called the pool room. Such a lovely room, nice vibe.
Brilliant. I called this one the orange room, but clearly I'm sure it's not.
Yeah, that is, I'm trying to remember, that is, I think it's room number 5 off the top of my head. I know because I know who was staying in that one last time. Now all the beds are, I think pretty much all of them can be separated into single beds, but they have double mattresses. So none of this gap thing down the middle. You know, if you, when I say there's spaces, so many spaces, we can double up if you want to. So if you want to come with your partner, it's not a women only retreat, by the way. We aim it for the feminine energy. We had 4 guys last time, you know, so it's how it works out. If you're the right person, you'll know you're the right person, or will know you're the right person. So if you come with someone who you happen to share a bed with, you can share a bed. If you come with someone who you don't, you can have 2 twin beds. We move them apart. And if you want your room to yourself, of course, you can have your room to yourself. So that is one of the orange rooms. And that room actually has a completely separate lounge, much like yours did. I think that's the lounge for the same room. Yeah, that belongs to the same apartment. And then there's a kitchen at the back. That one's got a full kitchen as well, as yours did almost. That one's got more of a full kitchen. The thing is, all the apartments, they're called their apartments, they're not really rooms. All of them have a kitchen or a kitchen area, but you're not going to use it because we're doing all the cooking for you.
I like my herbal tea and my hot lemon drink. So I'd make myself a drink and all the rest of it, you know, in the evening or in the, you know, but yeah, you spend a lot of time in the other room. This is, I call this one the copper room, but again, I was just making it up based on what came to mind, but just to give people a flavour of what to expect.
Yes. There's
So
I think there's 4 that are part of the original stables. I think they are actually called the stable rooms. The others
yeah,
are called corral rooms because they're slightly bigger in apartments. Yeah, they're all every single. There's no 2 rooms alike. There's
absolutely. This is
2.
another of them. That's clearly already got kind of 2 beds in it as well.
Yeah.
So this was another one.
Yeah.
Actually, this was a room I was in, so I think that's downstairs in number 7. And then that's one of the bathrooms.
Yeah, that's the bathroom in the pool room, I think. Yes.
Yeah. And they're all, as Cathy was saying, they're all completely unique and just, you know, lovely. And that's the kind of view looking out of what I think might have been your room.
That was, I think, room number 4.
Okay.
Room, yeah, quite near the main reception, the main communal area.
And then outside, they pretty much all had their own little veranda, didn't they?
Yes, every single one has got its own veranda. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then talking of veranda, now we're outside. This is, you know, the view. And as Cathy said, there are lots of places where you can just go and I made it in my business somewhere in my old camera, which is now defunct, unfortunately. I sat everywhere. I made it a point to either take my drink or take a book and just make sure I sat in all of the little nooks and crannies. It's just gorgeous.
I remember that.
Absolutely gorgeous. And so that's a view. There is a pool as well and a jacuzzi.
Heated jacuzzi.
Yeah. And actually a couple of people went in the pool in March, even though it wasn't, you know, height of summer. Paulina was definitely one who went in. I'm guessing Rachel, now she's allowed to, will probably be, because she's a water baby. So, and there's also
warmer now.
Absolutely. Oh, really? Even though it's November. Yeah. Actually, while we're on the subject, can you just say about dress requirements, please? Just give people a heads up on that.
Well, October's normally the time where the weather changes, and it can change in a matter of about 2 weeks from being hot summer to a very autumn feel. And it hasn't yet. Yesterday was cool. So in 3 weeks' time, the chances are, like today, it's been absolutely roasting today. And yet this morning I had to go out with just a little long sleeve, little slip over. And some nights we still have the fan on at night time because it's still apart from this night, but we still have the fan on at night time and we have the windows open and the fan on because it's still not cool enough. We've just got a thin sheet and a blanket. However, in 3 weeks' time, they can be different. What's probably going to happen is, you see that picture? It's probably going to look like that in the daytime, you know, and I'm really hoping it won't rain, but it's probably going to be really, really warm and sunny, a bit like a nice British summer kind of temperature, I think, because that pool isn't very deep either. There's quite a large area where they've got like a table in the pool, like a stone table and chairs, benches inside the water. So that end is shallow for quite a lot of it. So that's going to be still warm from the summer. Whereas in April, it hadn't warmed up yet. You see, so it'll be warm from then. But night times, definitely cooler. Definitely advise you to bring warmer clothes for the evening. Layers. Every time I say this, people never bring enough stuff. Marilyn and somebody else I remember well last time. But you just bring some stuff, you know. Just make sure it's something cozy, and it's not just the warmth; it's the coziness factor. You know, you want to be cozy. You're letting all your stuff out. Be cozy and insular and wrap up kind of thing. So some people, you see the sunbeds there, some people were out there just sunning themselves by the sunbeds, and there probably will be again in November, because if it's like this, I had to get out of the car earlier on because I was too hot. I pulled up outside the house. I was literally for 2 minutes putting my bits and pieces into my bag to get out of the car, and I had to get out of the car because I was roasting, absolutely roasting. And that was about, 2 hours ago now, something like that. So it can be 2 seasons in one day. But I send everyone a packing list. I'll send you up-to-date weather information about a week before, and then obviously it's up to you to check it from then on. Anything that specific that happens weather-wise, I'll let you know, of course.
And I'm just saying layers, and the coziness factor, because it was very impromptu last time, but we ended up doing a couple of nights where we just got cushions and throws, and we were in the dining room all on the floor getting candles out and the incense, and I did some Hoonah stuff for the group. Ty led us through a meditation, somebody else did a relaxation process, one of the participants, and then people just ended up, you know, cozied up on the floor. I think a couple of people actually slept there overnight, why it's really nice to have you. And Mark
almost. I marked it. I left him there.
Absolutely. So that's why it's nice when you do those evening sessions to really be wrapped up warm. That's really lovely. So yeah, but I'm definitely gonna, I'd say, bring layers, and I'm gonna bring, you know, those Uniqlo tops, the padded ones that roll up into a little bag.
Oh yeah.
I've got one of those this time, so I'm definitely bringing that, because they pack up to nothing, and they're just brilliant for those times where it's just a little bit chilly. But bring layers, everyone, bring layers.
Yeah. And remember, these are stone buildings. This is an old building. They've added stuff to it, but it's an old building, so some of the walls are quite thick, cold stone Spanish building. However, all the rooms have heating. Some of them have heated floors in the bathrooms. I think some have a heated floor in the bedroom. I forget which rooms, all different, and some just have heating in the walls.
And so you will be blankets as well on the beds.
And there are electric blankets for the beds, yes, should you need it. So
but it's fantastic, and you know, this is just another one of the spaces. This is an outdoor bar. We actually didn't get to use the bar that much. I did one session out there before people started walking around, because we just thought we want to have a different, you know, come out of being inside, let's be outside. But that, again, you're free to go anywhere you like and just take a seat and chill out and relax. So and I love that picture, Cathy. That basically says it all for me. It's like, because that's how I felt when I arrived. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
It was Mark. He snapped me. We'd been on a recce trip. We'd been on a let's find our wedding venue trip. She offered it to us for a retreat venue. We went away, thought about it. And when we went back, we went as our recce trip. Okay, let's look at it with new eyes. Let's look at it as if we're going to bring these guests, these 15, 20 guests here. Let's look at it from that point of view. And so we had the place to ourselves. It was on the changeover day. So everybody had gone, and I just walked in and up into the grounds, and that's just past the entrance, like you said earlier. And it was just like, oh my gosh, look at this place. And then Mark's there with his camera. So
brilliant. But that is real. It's fantastic. But that is literally, I think, how most people will feel when you arrive, because that little door makes you go, because I was like, what the hell has Cathy got me into? It felt like you're going to a little bit. It's like Alice in Wonderland, down the rabbit hole, when you come out the other side, and then it's Mary Poppins' handbag, where it's just like, wow. And the whole place, you and Mark have got it just for the group, which I think is amazing. So Cathy, just to kind of round off, do you want this? It's all on the screen, so you know. But do you want to just talk people through the retreat information in terms of the logistics, the pricing, etc.?
Yes, it's as it says there. Everybody can read this, I'm sure. It's in Andalusia, Spain. The nearest airport is actually Malaga Airport. From the UK, the prices, the flight prices are so cheap. You can get a return for under £50, depending. Well, they were a while ago, and we've had last-minute ones before, haven't we? And they are really good price. Anyway, the dates are the Sunday the 3rd to the Sunday the 10th of November. And so you arrive on Sunday and you leave on Sunday. So the 6 days in the middle are clean days to work on you. And then you just let me know your flight times and stuff like that. It is walking distance to the beach. It apparently is 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes walking distance to the beach. Is longer than that, believe me. We sent somebody off before and they were gone a really long time. So it's a little bit longer than that. But you can drive there in like 10 minutes, it's less. So it's pretty cool. The El Cortijo de los Caballos. It's a restored equestrian with cortijo. It's a Moroccan and Spanish mix. That's the style. So it's really beautiful. If you're thinking deep luxury, it is not. If you're thinking rustic, shack in the woods, it's not that either. It's not actually in between. It's really, really cute, quaint, comfortable, warm and cozy, and you'll feel luxurious. So, and the owner, she's very particular about her beds. She made a point of telling me this, and I've experienced this. She spends a fortune on her mattresses and on her duvets. So that's the thing. So you're going to have good beds, good comfortable mattresses. The price is in euros, it's 2,297. What did I say? 2,997, 2,997, 3,000 euros basically, if you want to come on your own. If you want to share, the price there again, it's 2,497, so it's 2,500. If you want to share with a friend and share, obviously, in a room. It's better if you find your friend to share with rather than we buddy you up, because we may end up, somebody might not want to share. Do you know what I mean? So if you have somebody you want to come with, friend, work colleague, could be working on a business idea together, partner, husband or wife, please, you can do that. That's fine. There is one, oh, well done. There's one room that we can actually have 3 people in. We bring in another bed. It's big enough for that. Now, if you pay you don't have to pay that all in one go like now. If you pay a deposit of 500 euros and the place is yours, obviously we do need to have a conversation to make sure that, well, I think we've pretty much covered everything. So if there's anything that you don't know about, I don't know what it is. So yeah, 500 euros will basically secure your place. Now, I'm just going to pick up on something that we mentioned earlier briefly. I said that you won't need to bring any more money, but there's a little extra there. What is really good is when we're talking about the trainers, they all do. If, let's say, you come to the retreat, you can be completely sorted out, for want of a better word, better phrase, in the week that you're there, with literally not bringing a penny with you. Okay. However, you might have something that's quite private that you want to work on, or you want to go even deeper on something, and you can do that privately with any of the trainers. So with Marilyn, with Rachel, with Jackie, with myself. If you want to talk food, you can do it with Mark as well, privately. I don't know. You can do that. So you will need to pay extra for that, because obviously we all charge individually for that. However, as a retreat itself, it works as a standalone. But that's something that you might be interested in, because it might be, yeah, I don't know, private or specific. Also, we have a beauty therapist on site. She's actually the daughter of the owner, and she works there like all the time for all of the events. She's a really lovely beauty therapist, and best eyebrows I ever had done was with her, I have to say. So she's there, and also myself, I'm doing massage therapy as well. So money wise, so that price there will cover and include everything, except if you want to have extra treatments, because people have asked us, and people do, and most of us are busy most of the time in the afternoons and the evenings for private sessions. So if you do, when you get involved a little bit more and you want to come, if there's anything you particularly want to take part in, you need to let us know as soon as possible. So even if you haven't actually booked your specific space, you have actually booked that you want a space basically with us. On that note about money, Marilyn, because your soul plan readings, you're doing something special for that, aren't you? Do people have to kind of start that process off before they arrive?
No, what I would definitely say with regards to that, if we want to do kind of a more in-depth reading, it's definitely going to be handy. Let me think. I think I put one in there as well for that. I'm going to put this in, so that's that as well. So that's the offer for those of you who kind of are in the webinar room, and that's a special price. That's the Kambio price that you can see there of 80. It's in pounds because I'm in the UK. So it's 500 euros deposit. £80, which is not, it's normally 130. So if people wanted to kind of do the soul plan reading bit, yes, it would be helpful that they booked beforehand, so that I can prepare the soul plan report. I can start looking at the limiting beliefs. I can start working on that. And it means then that they can have a printout that we can be working from, or I can, when I'm doing one-to-one clients by telephone and Skype, I send them a PDF of the report. So it would be handy to be able to do that beforehand. Because as we know last time, in terms of PC printing out, we didn't even want to get into it. I don't want it. It's not a work retreat. Do you know what I mean? So sorting out printers and doing this, it's like, I'd rather not. Let's get all that done beforehand, and then we just get into kind of doing the work. So yes, for those who have already booked, I might actually write a little summary for you to send to them, because I'm going to need their birth name, as in the name that's on their birth certificate, because that's what we base the first soul plan reading on. So yeah, it's useful to get that done, I think.
Okay, excellent. And was the other thing I wanted to say about that? So regarding printing, no, we don't want to be messing with printing while you're there, but we will have a printer this time, just so you know.
Cool.
Just a little bit of info for you between. Never mind everybody else listening.
not you lot.
Really lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant.
I made some notes here that. Hang on, how do people get a soul? Oh yeah, how can they get a soul plan? So you have that ready for them when they arrive, don't you?
Yeah, so have it ready for people when they arrive, so they can take it away, have a read of it. I'm going to ask people, to highlight, circle, etc. What stands out in terms of what work. Because for me, when I look at that now, self-loathing, I had it, overcome it. So you put a little tick, had that done. And then for other things, you'd be like, whoa, in it, because there are times where you're in something, and then with the potential, sometimes you look at it. So mine talks about a lot, teaching vibration, being a channel, multiple spiritual abilities, it might be that somebody looks at it and goes, well, I'm not a teacher, or I don't have multiple healing and spiritual abilities, but I would love to. So we also want to get what's the potential, because we start building that into what we're doing at the retreat as well. So yeah, they get a bit of what I call home play to do with that one.
Okay. Something you said then about the speed. I don't want anybody to think that because these processes are done fast, they're in any way less efficient. I'd say, if anything, they're probably more efficient, because we don't need to spend years discussing and talking about all of the pain that's been happening and reliving it over and over and over again. Let's be productive and be proactive and not reactive to our pain. And trust me, I've experienced Marilyn's speed and efficiency over the years, and Hoonah, and she's stuff just like, what happened there? What happened there? Where did it go? It's just gone. Honestly, stuff that's been weighing you down like a big weight on your shoulders for years, maybe, she can get rid of it. That's the
and that's that water drop that people can see on the screen if they're looking at it now. For me, that's what it is. It's the ripple effect. And the longest I've had the ripple is somebody who got in touch and to recommend a colleague. She was looking for an executive coach. He said, I highly recommend Marilyn. And then he just put some little line at the bottom. He said, I've been meaning to message you. I just wanted to say thank you for the one-day breakthrough session. The words he used were, the effects of which are still rippling throughout my entire life. And I read that and I'm thinking, I'm sure I worked with this guy about 10 years ago. So I went back to my database. Sure enough, I'd done a one-day breakthrough session 10 years prior, and it was still working. Do you know what I mean? So I always say, look, I'm not, even like with photo reading at 25,000 words per minute and photo read a whole book in 5 minutes. I actually say to people, the speed is nice and it's kind of irrelevant if you don't remember and recall what you've read and you can't utilize it. It's the same for transformation. If it's not going to work, then slow down, take your time. But if you can just get something sorted out, let's be having it and let's do it. So that's what I always say. So if you would like to sign up, join us. This is a little summary of what Cathy's just been sharing with you. There's this will take you to the Facebook page where there's a lot more information, videos. You can see some of the pictures, read the testimonials from previous attendees. So that's because the Facebook link is very long, as you know, lots of numbers and letters. So it's www.bit.ly.com/Kambio, K-A-M for mother, B-I-O, Kambio 2019. You can also email Cathy if you've got any further questions, any further queries. That's Kambio Retreats, and that's retreats with an S at the end, @gmail.com. Once you've had your conversation with Cathy and got that sorted out, book your flights so you know you're there. Cathy will be sending out, I presume, the same sort of pre-retreat questionnaire to find out about people's requirements.
Yep.
So that'll be winging its way out soon. And as Cathy's already said, you also pay a 500, sorry, that should say euros there, 500 euro deposit to secure your place. And then, working out how you wanted to do the rest of the payment between then and that. And actually, there's one picture I want to show you just to put some of this stuff into context, because I captured it a while ago.
Oh my God!
Do you remember this, Cathy?
Yes.
I messaged you and I said, how far apart were those pictures? Because we were talking about when we first did that one in Portugal, it was a healthy gut retreat. So you were very specific about that. But I know you were also saying there are people who like the bread and the cakes and etc., but they don't want to get fat. And so your eating will have a massive impact. But that picture is one that is just like, oh my God, because it's you in both of those.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely me. Yep. 19 days apart. I know, even I'm like, wow, oh my gosh. One, I'm like shocked you went and found that. And two, I'm like, oh, there's my stomach online. Even though and that is literally that. I know, not fat there. That's the reaction to food. I'm not particularly, I'm not gluten intolerant or anything like that. That is the reaction to eating foods that cause inflammation because they're grain or they're highly acidic. That's all that is. That's not because I've sat around on the couch eating burgers all day long. That is literally because I've eaten so-called healthy food, you know, nice, grainy, seedy bread, maybe good quality. I don't think I'd had milk because I don't think I would have gone down the dairy route because I don't do dairy, but acidic foods, basically, not the worst things on the bottom end of the scale, kind of, yeah. And that's just what can be done. Now, in relation to that, because I said earlier that we also cater other people's retreats through Kambio catering. And these people are there for their own reasons. They're often a virtual company, or they're people that they have like team building exercises. They come to do that, and we basically feed them. Now, our thing is healthy food, but not everybody is necessarily wants to go all the way as far as we want to take them. So this particular group, what they said was they wanted something half and half. They wanted to experience some local delicacies, but what they also wanted to do was half of the group were quite into well-being. So if you could do some, healthy options. So we would serve a really good quality local bread, but Mark would also make his own bread at the same time. And they were having both. And we had a little bit of meat, but it was local jamon. So it was really good quality Iberico and things like that. Good quality goat's cheese. Everybody looked healthier at the end of it, and they'd had some long hours. They were working on their laptops all day. We're talking zero exercise all day. They're working on laptops. Everyone looked healthier. Everybody had lost weight.
Wow.
And they didn't mean to, and they felt more energized. And people were coming up to us. We weren't there to promote our stuff. That particular one, we were literally there to feed them. We were there to serve a function and to be kind of seen but not heard, kind of out of the way, so that they could literally sit on their laptops all day and do the work. So we designed the menu so that it helped their brain function at a better level, so they're not sluggish. And that's what we do on the Reset Retreat. We're doing the same thing because we want you to be able to access as much as possible in your head, but also think from your heart, which is also a better quality of brain, less filters, and also from your gut. So the food that we're going to be feeding you is going to help to clear your gut so that you can feel, hear, listen to, and trust your intuition. That's the messages that we all know this. You get the feeling of something, the gut feeling, the gut instinct, then the head kicks in and says, you can't do that. You're not good enough. You're not big enough. You're not strong enough. You're not rich enough. You're not beautiful enough. You're not whatever enough. And all of the stuff that all the stuff that, I was going to say lies, whatever, beliefs that we've been conditioned to accept through our lives, but the gut knows the truth. So if we feed you healthy food, if we're giving you all this beautiful, nutritious, comforting, pleasant to the eyes and to the mouth and taste buds and to the smell, because obviously the kitchen's right next to the communal room, so you get to smell it all as well. It's all part of the sensory experience. Then if you get that experience, then you're going to be more comfortable and you're going to trust your gut better because we're clearing out all the rubbish. And obviously, you'll be drinking more water. Your body will be more in an alkaline state. You'll be dropping and shedding and clearing and cleansing and everything. It's going to be wonderful. And look, you might even lose any of your bones if you've got one.
Brilliant. And for those of you who are watching, maybe you're watching this as a replay, if you've got any questions, any queries about anything Cathy has said during the webinar or anything I've touched on, put the questions in the comments thread if you're watching this on Facebook, in the comment space if you're watching this via the YouTube channel, and if you happen to be registered for the webinar, then of course you already have my email address, so you can kind of email me there. So, you know, and Cathy, of course, drop Cathy an email and she will answer all of your questions about that. So first of all, Cathy, I just want to say thank you for joining me today.
Been a pleasure, absolute pleasure. This has been really fun.
Absolutely.
Really fun. I've enjoyed this. Yeah. So you're welcome, and thanks for setting it up, because this is your new platform, isn't it? New-ish kind of platform that we're using. So rather than doing a regular Facebook Live, we're using this platform that Marilyn's using, and this is great. This is really, really good, and I'm hoping from a attendee point of view, I'm hoping their experience is as good as mine is, because this is great. It's so clear. I actually know what's going on. You know, I've done a few webinars. I haven't got a clue what's going on in the background. I did one once. I was actually talking to myself for an hour and a half. I actually fell asleep on my own webinar. Honestly, swear to God.
And Cathy, actually, even though this, because I've done probably, I was the person because when I bought this webinar, within like 12 hours of laying my hands on it, I was running my first live event, and there are people who bought it months ago and still haven't used it. But in terms of new, you are actually, no, you're my second guest. Gina was my first guest, but you're the first guest that I've ever brought on using the live streaming to Facebook version. So this is a first today.
Brilliant. Well, we've just come full circle, because we started the webinar. You talked about how we met, which was via Gina, and then you and I came into contact. There you go.
Fabulous. And I also want to say thank you so much to everyone who has watched this and taken the time to spend a bit of time with myself and Cathy. Also, thank you to everyone who has booked to attend, and also previous attendees, because the feedback there has also been really valuable in helping to shape the events over the years. So, you know, just want to say thank you all. And this, for you guys who are on the Facebook and YouTube, there's a bonus menu. This is from the wonderful chef Mark Twissell, who you saw at the beginning with the photo of him and Cathy. And so this one is for zesty lemon muffins. For those of you who are in the webinar room, we've got something even more exciting for you guys. Let me share that now. So what will happen now, I've just shared that one into the webinar room. So I also asked Mark if I could have the recipe for the porridge, which doesn't sound very exciting first off. So I've just delivered that into the webinar room. So what will happen is you can just say yes, and it will download itself to your desktop. And it's a PDF from Mark. And what it is, when that day we were in the first retreat a few years ago in Portugal, and I said, oh, what are we having for breakfast tomorrow? Because it had been delicious. Everything had been delicious. And Mark then said, oh, we're having porridge tomorrow. And I went, oh. And he went, don't you like porridge? And I went, I'll be honest with you, Mark. From the moment my mum stopped forcing me to eat it, I've not touched it since, because basically it was like eating sick. Then I said to him, I said, look, I'm here on the retreat, so I'm going to eat anything and everything that you give me, just because, like Cathy was saying, you want to expand your palate. He put that porridge down in front of me the next day. If I wasn't in company, I would have licked the bowl. It was so good, and it is my favorite. It has been my favorite breakfast for the last 3 years, hands down. There are even times I will wait and I'll have it for brunch, you know, because it's just. So what Mark has done is he's done a really beautiful PDF of the recipe and how to follow the recipe. So I've just put that into the webinar room as a handout. And for those of you who registered via the Big Marker platform, what I'll also do for you guys, if you haven't been here live, I think it shows up in the recording, but just in case it doesn't, I will email you a copy of the recipe if you'd like it as well. So thank you, Mark, for that, because it is just awesome. It's my favorite one. It's just so delicious. So get yourself sorted out. 3rd to the 10th of November. These are Cathy's details again. So, and that's her telephone number there as well. I don't know how often you answer the phone, Cathy, but
I do answer it. Yeah.
Brilliant. So just for you who might be on a tiny little device, the telephone number is +34 625 986613. So that's temporarily where Cathy is at the moment in Spain, setting up for the next event. Email is cambioretreats@gmail.com. So, and you can follow her on Twitter. It's Kambio, the letter R at the end. And Instagram is Kambio Retreats. So, you know, keep in touch. My details are Marilyn @transformationstm.com. Marilyn is Marilyn, Transformations, TRANCE. as in hypnotic trance, F for Freddie, so FORMATIONS, TM as in trademark, so Marilyn at transformationstm.com for the email, transformationstm.com for the main website. My blog is marilyndevonish.com, and pretty much across social media, Instagram, etc., it's /Marilyn Devonish, except for Instagram, which is a neuro success coach. So keep in touch. And for those of you who have a few minutes at your disposal, what I'm going to do now, just to round this off, and Cathy, if you need to run off, you can run off, that's fine. But what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to play a couple of videos for you. The first video is from Cathy doing a walkthrough of why she set up the Kambio retreat, and then the next video, which runs for about 11 minutes, is when I was there in March this year. I actually just walked around with my video camera, so if you actually want to see the venue in real time rather than looking at the pictures, so I'm walking around and I'm taking you everywhere, I'll play that one afterwards. So Cathy, before we hit the video, is there anything else you wanted to share with people?
I think I've had a vision or visions recently of the remaining guests that are coming, and I'm hoping to reach you energetically. May sound a bit airy fairy, I don't know, but if you've got this far in this webinar, I think you're pretty much on the same page as Marilyn and I in terms of energy. So if you're having a gut reaction or something in what we've said is resonating with you, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm not saying that because we want you to come. We don't want to take people's money if you're not the right person. The thing is, I don't want you to miss an opportunity. I don't want you to be saying, what if? So if you're getting the goosebumps or the belly ache or the little flutter of excitement or something, get in touch. Speak to Marilyn, speak to me. It doesn't matter if you happen to know Mark or you happen to know Rachel or Jackie. Well, I speak to one of us. I'll ideally eventually come back to me, so I actually know you want to come. But speak to someone, reach out to whoever you feel the most comfortable speaking to, and let's just see where it goes, okay? Because I don't want you to miss out. Because this is going to be, whatever I imagine this is going to be, it's going to be way better than that. The last one was, we had an image of what it was going to be like, and it was, and $1 million on top of that. And this one is going to be the same. And I have this, those of you that know will know, I have this feeling that something really, really, truly amazing is going to happen. And I don't know what it is yet. I think there's some ideas that's going to be generated amongst the group, or maybe with one person, or somebody is going to connect with somebody there. And it's going to be life-changing, not just on an individual level, but I think on a world level. There's something seriously incredible going to be happening, and we're just the facilitators. That's it. All we're doing is kind of like helping bringing everything out to the surface and help you. So that's it basically. If you get that gut feeling, that stirring is happening, reach out and have a conversation. And thank you for watching and sticking with us this long. Marilyn and I don't think either of us are known for being that succinct. We can be, so we need to wrap it up a bit ourselves sometimes. So well done, you've made it this far. I actually really need to go to the loo, so can I take this opportunity to do that while you're playing the video, Marilyn?
Absolutely, do whatever you need to. Absolutely. Okay. And and Cathy, while you're in the room, there's a thing at the top. So it says RMTP. Then there's a picture of a microphone, the picture of a camera. So you can exit the video and just go, bye, I'm out of here. Or you can turn off your camera or turn off the sound by pressing one of those buttons, the camera or the mic. It's up to you. But if you just want to run to the loo, that's absolutely fine as well. I'm going to hit play.
Okay.
And I do the same while it's playing.
Okay.
Brilliant. Cool. Right, here we go. Here's the first video.
And my business is Kambio Retreats. I provide bespoke, personal, one-to-one retreats. Usually in Spain, but doesn't have to be. I also provide group retreats. We do about 1 or 2 of these a year. Now I don't do this alone, I do this with my partner. He's a chef, and he's a very healthy chef. And I'm a nutritionist, and also a sports therapist, fitness instructor, holistic therapist, and NLP coach, life coach, all kind of other things, Reiki master, teacher, author, lots of other things. So we wanted to work together, basically, and we needed to find a way that we could do that. And that's okay, but we've got 3 kids between us, so working together is one thing. I also don't really feel satisfied with the regular 9-to-5 kind of lifestyle. I needed to have my dream life. I needed it desperately, and that's fine. But when you've got kids, you need time, and as much as I love them, and I do, I craved time. I need time for sanity, peace of mind, sanity. But a lot of what you want in your dream life doesn't involve them, but it needed to involve them. I needed to create a life where my kids were involved, because I had one boy, and then 16 years later I had another one, so I started all over again. I must have been mad, but anyway, I love them to bits. But we needed to find a way to make this work. So I didn't like the grey of England. I needed to spend more time in the sun. So Kambio Retreats was born. So I love food. Mark, my partner, he loves food, he loves pastries. Now he's a healthy chef, so what he's done, he's created lots of cakes and pastries, breads, all kind of desserts, all kind of things like that are actually healthy, because although I love food, I don't want to get fat. I've got a lot to do in this life, and I want to live a long time, and we want to help other people do the same. And it absolutely burns me inside when I see people, women especially mothers, that are not living up to their full potential because they can't, they feel they can't, because of their relationship. Nothing wrong with it, but it can be restricting because of their children, their life, their job, their career, the money, the bills, obligations, family, all these kind of things. And there is a way that you can make this work. Now that's what we do. We help people find a way to make this work. You come to us, you spend a week. At the moment, our next one is in November, it's in Spain. Spend a week with us. We have these amazing trainers that come out, fitness, life coaches, business coaches, acceleration coaches, empowerment, tapping, stretching, yoga, exercise, food, everything you can think of for the group retreat that we do in November. When we do the private retreats, whatever it is that you need, we find the people that you need. So if it's not Mark and just I, then we'll find somebody else to come and help as well. Maybe it's an extra specific kind of yoga teacher that you need, specific kind of business strategist that you need. We'll bring the people out there to help you. So completely sort your life out in 6 days. 7 days, 7 nights, 6 days, kind of thing, whatever. You can tailor it to you. But the one in November is that length of time. Anyway, if any of this resonates with you and you're interested in anything, messaging, asking a question, having a chat, whatever, drop me a message, and hopefully we can go from there. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for looking at my profile, and hope to be in touch with you soon. Okay, bye.
Fabulous. And we're going to have a look at the second video, which is, let's pull that one up. This is our walkthrough of the whole resort. So here we go with this one.
Hey, it's Marilyn Devonish here from TransformationsTM.com. I did a nighttime version yesterday, and I now want to show you the gorgeousness of this property in the daytime. So we're here. Actually, let's start from the beginning. So this used to be an old stables, hence we've got all this stuff going on. So let's start where we started last night. This was the electric gate that we came through. So let's go back to basics, and let's start from here. So this first thing I saw, we got here about 6:30, so it was sort of getting dark, but I'm going to walk you in and just show you where we're at. So a little open play area. Now the door looks tiny, but what is beyond this door is absolutely incredible.
Oh, hang on. I don't know if it's. I wonder. I wonder if this was when I was at the retreat. It lost its signal a bit. There we go. So it's not me. It's the video.
Kind of breakfast and dinner area. I'm not going to go any further because there are people actually sitting there, and they may not want to be on camera. So hope the Wi-Fi holds when I'm wandering. Just so you get a sense. I'll try and do it slowly, not make you dizzy. Awesome, and all of these are the individual apartments. So let's take a walk this way. The building there, that's one of the apartments, apartment number 10, that's the tower room, as we've named it. I think that's what it's called officially. So all of these little buildings here, they're individual apartments where people are staying. And I'm at the Kambio Retreats event organised by Cathy, Hector and Mark Twissell. Gorgeous Peggy owns this retreat, has owned it for 40 years, that's 40. This is the swimming pool area. Little poolside bits and bobs. I did see a unicorn yesterday, so you can spot that in the background. So this is the pool.
Right, I'm going to pause this for 1 second. Cathy is just going to say bye, so let me unmute that. So Cathy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. And this has been fun, as I said. And yes, goodbye. And I hope to see, if you're watching this, I hope to see you soon. Bye. See you, Marilyn. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye. And let me just put you back there so you get your tour.
It's just so lovely. We're here for a week. And you've still got time, if you're watching this in real time, you can still pop over for 3 days or 5 days and join us. Someone got a return flight for £18 from London to Malaga. So, and I love the way they've done the pool actually. It actually looks like a sandy beach as you walk into it. So this is just gorgeous, lovely. So you get a bit of panoramic view of that as well. Wonderful day today. It's about 23, 24 degrees. I hear it's actually snowing in the United Kingdom, and it was snowing in London yesterday, so it's quite a contrast. Oh, just look at that. Wow. Just lots of wonderful little nooks and crannies, gorgeous wildlife. And as you can hear, it's just so peaceful. Oh, and Karen says, looks fabulous, very envious. Karen, get on a plane and come and join us. There are 2 apartments left. So I did my first session today, which was meeting the ultimate best version of you. So we did that as a guided process. And people had some really profound messages come up from that, which was beyond awesome. Peggy, who's the owner of the retreat, she very kindly says she'll do me a Facebook testimonial as well, because she just had some really gorgeous stuff happening as well. Ah, this is the other area. I did my workshop in the dining space, which is massive. And this is the other space that we can actually do workshops and little sitting meditations as well. Seating area there by the bar. Let's go back round this way. And I sort of be quiet so you can just take it in. I love the sound of the palm trees rustling. I don't think you can hear that on camera. It's just massive here. For my magic and gratitude, we've got to get the unicorn in. It's like we're rude not to, so there we go. Bit of unicorn action. Another little seating place here. And one of the things I've done is I said I'm going to make it my business to pretty much make sure I can sit everywhere. and really enjoy being in the space, because often when I travel for work, you know, I arrive, I do my job, I run my workshops, I do my coaching sessions, consultancy, whatever it is, and then I've got to get back on the plane or back on the train and leave. And so given that I'm here, I'm going to make sure that I sit everywhere and make the most of all of this gorgeous space. So we'll be out here having a little sit. Ooh, let's take the, follow the almost yellow brick road. Oh, I haven't got my key. I was going to say I'll show you my apartment. I'll maybe do that later. It'd be nice to see it in daylight. But my key is in the... Actually, I'll walk back and get my key and I'll show you my room. Oh, did I tidy my bed? I think I did. So all of the individual apartments have a seating area, somewhere where you can sit down, so outdoor veranda. I'll show you my front door. And all the little post-it notes mean they're now allocated to the people who are staying here. So that's me. I'm at apartment number 7, and number 7 is actually one of my favourite numbers, my lucky number. So when I've got my key, I will show you the gorgeous space. And this is my first walk around in daylight, because as I said, we arrived a bit late, we were sorting things out, allocating the rooms, unpacking. Oh, another little place for me to sit. Gorgeous. Look at that. So if you need a tranquil moment, by all means take it. And what I love about this area, if you can see, is it feels like we're outside. However, it's double glazed all round. So at night, we were in here last night, even though it was actually gets quite, this time of year, it's quite chilly at night. But it's still what happened, as we could just close those doors and still feel like we're outside. A table tennis action. Yeah, so that's it, guys and gals. Kambio retreats, the healthy gut retreat this one is now underway. So I'll put a link in for anyone who really can get on a plane in the next couple of days and come and join us. And if not, keep an eye on my page, keep an eye on Cathy, Hector's page, or Mark Twissell's page, because I'm sure they'll be doing another one, because it is just so fantastic. My first workshop was today, which was mine. And that just got us off to such an amazing start, a real beautiful sense of connection with everyone who did the workshop. Everyone chose one of my coaching cards after I did the guided process and got a message which was super relevant to them, to the point everyone in the group's like, oh my God, we just talked about that. So somebody, for instance, was looking at old beliefs, inherited beliefs that they'd picked up. And she picked the card called Inherited Beliefs. It was that specific. But those of you who do my Tarot Tuesday, for example, will already know how that scenario goes. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's been fantastic. So I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to grab my key and I will walk you back to my apartment, just so you can have a little look-see in terms of just what the rooms are like here as well. Should you ever also be thinking of wanting to hire this place, because I would highly recommend that as well. It's beyond gorgeous, and we've got this whole resort to ourselves. It's just our room here, so the whole thing is private just for us. And it's just fantastic. So I'll put the link in for this retreat as well. So if you ever want to find out further information, you know where to look. So that's where we started in terms of the wonderful walkway. So I will catch you all later. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye bye. Oh, and actually, for those of you who just joined us, if you're thinking, what is this, what's going on, it's Marilyn Devonish here from transformationstm.com, and it's www.trance, as in hypnotic trance, formations, FORMATIONS, TM as in trademark, so www.transformationstm.com, and my email address if you want further information about this or any other stuff that's going on, it's Marilyn, Marilyn, at transformationstm.com, and I'll add the relevant links into the description of this video a bit later. So thank you for watching, and wishing you all a fantastic, incredible, wonderful day, no matter where in the world you are residing.
Fantastic. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining myself and Cathy. Really look forward to working with those of you who will be joining us for the Kambio Retreats event this November. If you're watching it in real time, and outside of that, just get in touch with Cathy or Mark. So it's Cathy, Hector and Mark Twissell, and they can give you a bit more information. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.